Honorable,
former majority leader.
We still want to keep you in the House.
But don't worry.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
I have an able successor, so that's all right.
Very well, very well, very well, very well. Thank you so much for your time. Honorable,
thank you very much.
Well, I mean, we've been watching the vetting proceedings. The anti-climax, if you ask me, was the happenings on Thursday and the brawl that ensued after. But following that, the Speaker has taken action. He has suspended 4 MPs from the House. Let me pick your thoughts on what the standing orders of the House say regarding this directive by the Speaker.
Yeah, well, you know, we have some new standing orders. And they have made more lavish provision than the old one. Now, if you look at the old standing order, even the current one, Order 5 of the standing order, it says that in all cases not provided for by the standing orders, the Speaker has the discretion and the authority to interpret or to provide the gap for the smooth running of the House. And it is on record that a committee city is a city of the House.
Yes.
And then the Speaker is literally in charge, whether in the chamber or at the committee level. Because it's a committee of Parliament and then the Speaker's committee. So what they are doing, they presumed to be supervised by the Speaker as well. So the Speaker, like in the High Court or the judicial system, has an inherent jurisdiction as provided for under Order 5 of the Standing Order, to take an action in all aspects of cases that are not specifically provided for in the Standing Order. And the Standing Order provides for disorderly behavior, disorderly conduct, and the Speaker can ask the marshal to order people out and not to come back. I hear people say that it is only for that day, but it's not necessarily for that day. It's at the discretion of the Speaker, depending on the gravity of the case. And in this case, if you look at the scenario, what happened on that day, it was a disgrace, not just an embarrassment, but it was a disgrace. It had brought the name of the House into disrepute. And then it had also scandalized the image of the House. And the Speaker is not a member of the Parliament, but the Speaker is the chairman or the father of the House. So I think that he took that decision at the spell of the moment. And then that was certainly in good faith. So you don't need an extra provision to say that the suspension might be this number of days or weeks and the rest of them. I think that he did that to send a message to the rest of the country that to whom much is given, much is expected. People expect a lot from members of Parliament. We are a role model in our society and in the country. We are the bastion. Parliament is the bastion of democracy. It's the symbol of democracy. Because if it's a military junta, the courts will exist, the executive will exist, but there will be no Parliament. So much is expected from Parliament, and therefore much is expected from the conduct of members of Parliament. And then you all are aware that what happened that day, you say you won't take part. Then walk out honorably. The law allows that. Walk out honorably. If you don't want to walk out, then sit down and don't participate in the debate. These are options available to you. There's no option saying that you should break down the equipment. You should turn tables and chairs. It's not part of your parliamentary privilege or democracy to be unruly and to be uncivilized. Pardon me for my heavy language. Excuse me for that. But that was very, very embarrassing. What happened? Without any provocation, we will not sit. Therefore, one who will not participate, we'll make sure you don't also participate. What law is that? Living by might and not by right. And the Speaker, they think that the Speaker should rather act by right and not by might. He who comes into equity must come with clean hands. You don't have a right to do what they did, and they are complaining. So I think that at the end of the day, what should happen is that the leadership of the two sides should engage the Speaker. This question of going to court and the rest of them will not help us. We would rather undermine the dignity of Parliament, like we did during the last session or the last month of December in Parliament House. It doesn't augur well. It's not everything that we should resolve in the court. So the two leaders should be able to sit with the Speaker, and the Speaker might use the discussion to say, okay, leaders, or we have to come back. Let the committee work, and we see at the end of the day what recommendations they can bring. But I think that the Speaker has an inherent jurisdiction, authority to take the decision that he did in the public interest and in the interest of the nation. And also, to be able to send a message to all types of people, like in the senior high schools, university, and the rest of them, people go inside and destroy property, government property, which as a poor country, we cannot easily replace. I think that those who are involved in that parliament must be fair charged. They must be fair charged so that when they pay, next time honorable men will know that they are honorable. It's not an empty title to be called honorable. Your conduct, your behavior, your lifestyle must demonstrate that. You must live in the epithet of that. So if it is honorable, then I think that the Speaker was right in invoking Order 5 and 130 of the standing orders to bring order to the House, to bring dignity back to the House, to send a message to all people in the country that you cannot afford to take the law into your hands and disgrace the country. In fact, what they did was all over the world. It's an embarrassment to Ghana. It's an indictment on our democracy that we have been extolling the virtues of our democracy since 1992. These are my concerns or opinion on the subject.
Very well, but critics of the Speaker's directive say that there is no law that gives him the backing to take that action. Do you think that this affords the opportunity or creates room for an amendment of, say, the standing orders to give us clear language on what authority or powers the Speaker has in such instances and what actions he can take?
I have no objection to that if they amend the standing orders so that you get a clear language to that effect. But I think that the inherent in the Constitution that gives the Speaker authority to interpret the standing order, to explain the standing order the way he thinks is fit. If there are no extra provisions, the Speaker was right in invoking the decision of what he did.
Now, on the conduct of parliamentarians, we've seen, I mean, as you have described it, the magnitude of disgrace this particular brawl has brought to the House and, by extension, Ghana as a whole. Going forward, do you get the indication that this is how the 9th Parliament is going to look like, where when the minority has an opposition to a matter, instead of staging a walkout as we have seen in previous parliaments, they will stay and disrupt?
That is good. That is why the Speaker's action should be lauded. That is why the Speaker's prompt and intuitive action is lauded. So that if the majority think that they can stress the majority, they are not stressing the majority, they are stressing Ghanaians. They are going to be stressing Ghanaians. They are going to put Ghanaians on the brink. And therefore, what the Speaker did by suspending 4 of them for 2 weeks is the most laudable and effective thing to do. So if they think they can misconduct themselves in the future by responding in the chamber, then they stand the chance of getting stiffer punishment.
Honorable, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We lost you momentarily.
I was saying that the Speaker sent the right message.
Right.
So that they can't afford to take the law into their hands by destroying property because they don't want to take part in debate. You can walk out quietly and nobody will fault you. You can sit down and fold your arms and don't debate. Nobody will fault you. But to destroy government property or public property, I think that is not the order of that they expect from parliamentarians.
Right. Honorable, let's look at the chairman of the appointments committee, the Honorable Bernard Ahiafo. Do you think there's too much pressure on him, or how do you see him managing the affairs of the appointments committee?
I think that my very good friend Bernard Ahiafo has been doing very well. He has done his best. You see, the public, some of us in the public, we do not understand. The principle is that let the minority have their say, let the minority have their say, and the majority their way. So it is in the interest of the majority not to talk too much. It is in the interest of the minority to make the noise and to be heard and then to be recognized. But at the end of the day, the majority will have their way. So I think that Ahiafo, the chairman, has been trying to live according to the epithet of democracy. Allow the minority to have their say. And then at the end of the day, the majority will have their way. People, yes, it is true that some of the questions from the minority leader, my learned friend Apenyo Martin, have been vexatious and then frivolous. It is true. But if you look at other democracies, if you go to the U.S., the judicial committee, when they are electing Supreme Court judges, that's how they can spend 2 days on one judge. They spend a whole day, 2 days, 3 days on one judge. But the question must be relevant. Relevance is important.
Yes, but we've seen members on his side.
That he played to the gallery, not being relevant. Yes, that is the challenge. Otherwise, if there are relevant questions, and one of the relevant questions is to try to establish the integrity of the nominee.
Yeah.
To try to establish the experience and the knowledge of the experience of the nominee. To try to get best international practice from the nominee. So that one takes time. But if you go into his favorite meal and whatnot, that has nothing to do with the subject matter, it becomes another matter.
Very well.
I think that a chairman, yes, he would have been the same guy who would have been chastising the chairman if he were blocking them or preventing them from talking the way they want to talk. So let them have their say and let the majority have their way.
On the minority having their say and majority having their way, we've seen at certain times members on the majority side openly or publicly disagreeing with the chairman. I don't know what you make of this and, of course, the strength of the chairman regarding these matters. Is it that the backdoor conversations have broken and so, we come out to publicly engage as we are seeing?
I think that sometimes there's lack of discipline on the part of some of the members of the committee. You must, if you don't respect the chairman, then you don't respect yourself. And you don't respect the August House. So, there's procedure for you to disagree. There's a procedure for you to engage and the rest of them. You cannot be talking at will or, refusing to yield to the chairman at will. I think that there must be more discipline on the part of honorable members on the committee.
Well, finally, how do members engage or what should be the posturing going forward to restore public confidence and, of course, the image of the House on the international scene?
Every time that there's seeming disagreement, the chairman should have a break and then they go into conclave for some few minutes and then come back to the House. I remember that as a former majority leader, when I was there, Chairman supposed minority leader. Sometimes when the argument was very hot, I signaled him, and then we went outside, and then within 2-3 minutes, we had reached some type of agreement on the way forward, and came back, and then we adopted a process, and it went by it. There must be constructive engagement between the chairman and then the ranking member. There must be constructive engagement. If there's no constructive engagement, this is the type of the nature of the House that you'll be having.
Honorable, thank you. Thank you. We'll have to leave it here. So grateful for your time. Always a pleasure talking to you. A former member of Parliament for Zebila, former majority leader, Cletus Avoka, speaking to us there.